Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
I feel good. I think our kids are going to play hard, and they know, we want to host. We want to host a game in the playoffs. You win out, there's a really good chance that you're hosting a game. So
right now, it's just struggling to score. When I go back and you watch film, it's not that we're not getting looks. Right now, they just haven't been falling. And so, personally, it's trying to figure out ways to get us to be able to kind of replicate that in practice.
We just got to keep getting after teams, and we got to play harder, get more rebounds, and keep getting downhill and scoring on them. Nickerson, they're very athletic, and they can win games, just shooting the ball well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the guys are getting more comfortable. Obviously, we have a good amount of freshmen who play, and there's always that adjustment period for those guys. So I think it's just good, and we're growing every day.
It means a lot, the season has been flying by. We just feels like yesterday we lost 3 in a row, but now, we've been putting up some good games.
It's going to take some internal things that we need to fix as far as, coming together more, and bonding and, doing the little things that we used to do when we were winning.
It's always hard in the Super Regional, but we do get to take, top 8 to top 4, which is our West region. 8 of the top 10 ranked teams are going to be at our regional, and I believe 76 of the 84 top 6 ranked wrestlers are going to be at our Super Regional.
The key now is that how is his body going to react? Can he get his body to come back and feel somewhat like it did today?
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Welcome into the Friday Sports Day show here on 1590. Steve Webster, Mike Hesher, Mike Corson, and Aaron Clark in with you for the program today. Barton Community College basketball coach Jeremy Combs will be in today. He'll be previewing tomorrow's home contest with Seward County at the Kirkman Center. Also on the program, KVGB High School Basketball Insider Sports in Kansas contributor Connor Nickel taking a look at players including Ellenwood's Britt Dutton, who are approaching the 2,000 career point scoring mark. Mike Corson is not on the prowl today. We'll have Friday sports headlines and sounds of the past 24 hours.
I ate too much earlier this week. I'm taking some time off.
If we got the growl when he's on the prowl, we have to come up for something when he's not. There you go, the snore. That's perfect.
So no on the prowl with Mike Corson. He will be back in probably about 1:20 today with a 5-minute segment on something that he probably hasn't started to put together yet. But he'll be back up here at 1:20 today to fill that spot.
I'm taking a shot at your prep there.
I feel like that's what Connor Nickel's for.
So I've got to get a little bit more out of him today.
Yeah,
is that fair to him?
He loves it. That's some neat chat you had last week asking him what he does when he's not doing sports. I didn't even know he was a former MLB guy.
Yeah, how about that? When he was in high school.
To get his autograph.
Well, you'd like baseball. Why don't you just go and get one of those gigs?
I was writing for Kings of Kaufman, but they didn't pay, so...
That's why they're the Kings of Kaufman.
Yeah.
They had low overhead costs. Okay, let's get to our sound of the past 24 hours or so. Alex Burney, a guest yesterday on Sports Day, along with head coach Kyle Cree. Great interview. Talking about the Great Bend Panther boys. Okay, they've dropped 2 in a row, even though they've come to ranked teams. Then they get going tonight, Dodge City in town. Then they go to Liberal tomorrow. Close out the season a week from today at Hayes. Great Bend 9-8 on the season. And right now, right in the middle of the pack in the 5A West Regional Sub-State standings, or West Sub-State standings. Cindy Beck, her team needs to start scoring some points. Season low 29 against TMP on Tuesday. In fact, they've shot like 25 and 26% from the field in their last 2 games. They get Dodge City tonight, who's tied with Liberal for first in the Western Athletic Conference. And their only loss came to Great Bend back in January. That's Great Bend's only Western Athletic Conference win so far. Doubleheader broadcast for you tonight, starting at 5:45 on B104.3 The Point. Tomorrow at Liberal, it is a 5 o'clock start. Cougars will be going on B104, so catch the Panther broadcast right here on KVGB 445 from the big house in Liberal tomorrow. Leighton Haxton, Hoisington Cardinal guard, 32 last Friday night against Lions, had 18 against Larned on Tuesday night. The Cardinals at Nickerson tonight. Get a win on the road there, come home and get a win against Hillsborough on Tuesday. Maybe, just maybe, you have a chance to get up at least to the 6th seed in that sub-state. That way you don't have to play southeast of Saline or Beloit in your first-round games. I think after those top two, you just have to say at least you've got a chance at an upset. I don't know if that would be the case in the first round, especially going against southeast of Saline. Cardinals in Nickerson tonight on 100.7 Eagle Country. Mike Hesher will be there. And Monday we'll hear him complain about the meal choices in Nickerson after the game tonight.
You're late. I've already been doing that downstairs talking to Corson.
That's why I didn't get any work done today.
Woe is me.
It's all about me.
They've got gut bomb burritos there on that north side of Sterling out there, so grab you one of those.
We might have to come all the way back to Great Bend.
If you get back here, that doesn't count.
Yes,
you don't
it
get it.
does.
No, it does.
Yes,
you don't get
it
to put it
does.
on your expense account.
You
I'm
wanna
telling
bet?
Matt right
You
now.
go
I'm going
right
to go
ahead.
Matt. Larned
Operations manager. I can do what I want.
Larned plays at Pratt tonight, our other broadcast game. Gary Wagner and Buddy Tabler. They'll find a nice place to eat after the game's over with. They'll go down to Woody's. Get home about 3 in the morning. High school basketball last night, Canton Galva beat Central Plains 62-52 in boys play. Central Plains girls beating Canton Galva 49-26. Other games tonight in the Western Athletic Conference, Dodge City's at Great Bend. Ellenwood back in action tonight at Otis Bison. Britt Dutton needs 38 to score 2,000 in his career. You just let him go out and get it in the first half, then you don't got to worry about it the rest of the year.
In the first half?
I didn't say the first half. Just,
Well,
is that what I
might
said?
be,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let him go get it tonight, then it's all out of the way, and you don't got to worry about it.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any problem getting it, but he's quite capable of doing it against pretty much any opponent, maybe besides Maxville in the CPL.
Could especially be beneficial tonight because if he gets 38 and gets it towards the end of the game, that way you get the little big celebration out of the way towards the end of the game, not waiting and halfway through the second quarter he breaks 2,000 points next game, and then you got to worry about the celebration that'll go on there.
It's been a tough year for Otis Bison. I don't think that Britain's going to be in the game in the fourth quarter tonight. So
that's
you might
fair.
you might have
that could be the hard part, getting him 38 points before you want to pull him.
Right.
And I know they put out the list of 2,000 kids. There's not that many of them. I've seen plenty of 1,000 kids, and they bring out the poster. I don't know that I've ever seen a 2,000 kid. Well, except one.
That's a 3,000 point kid.
Yeah, they don't do posters over there or maybe I was
So
gone
you're
that
talking
night.
to who are you talking about?
Emily has to be the highest score I've seen, but I don't think I've seen anybody else go over 2,000.
Emily's over 3,000. 3,007. Lori Kane of Mound Ridge, 3,160, and Jackie Stiles, 3,603. They're the only 3,000 point scorers ever in the state. There has not been one on the boys' side.
And Taryn Sides, who's played around the area with Phillipsburg several times, is she needs 14 tonight in Hoxie.
The 13th highest scorer in Keisha history. Do I need to shut your mic off here?
Yeah, you better.
Let me guess. KJ.
You're right.
Oh, man.
Carrie Jones, 13th all-time scorer, and she scored 2,199 points, Aaron Clark, in 1978. That is, so what is significant about 1978?
Is that when you had a mop of hair?
That was my first thought was what.
Yeah, that's a good guess too. They didn't have the 3-point shot in those days. So everybody else up here, 2002, there is nobody on this list. I'm looking here real quick. There's no one else on that list that is from the that dates from the Kelly St. Clair of Baxter Springs may have. That was 1986. It was right around in there when the 3-point line came in.
But was she
How
a
many
distant
points
shooter?
could Carrie Jones have scored?
Was she a shooter? Was she hanging out
a
down low?
slasher. She did it all.
Maybe she was making that mid-range merchant.
Bunnies.
A 5'8" high jumper. Throw that on there, Mr. Trackman. Huh?
Was she doing the flop, or was she going over the 78 way? I don't know when that converted either.
The 78 way. Yeah, we've had the Fosbury flop even back when I went to school, Mike.
All right.
Okay. I was just wondering. I'm glad I've got to get that fact in twice today. Okay, Maxville's at St. John tonight, Lacrosse at Mineola, Kinsley at Central Plains, Osborne is at Chase tonight, Attica at Stafford, Satan at Pawnee Heights. The Chase girls start to build that momentum right now to go to the 1A D2 state tournament. They're going to go own Ransom. Okay, Brett Franz, assistant coach of the Barton Cougars. We'll hear from Jeremy Combs coming up. Cougars at home, just hopes they keep it going. They've won 9 of 11, 3 straight. Seward County's in town this weekend. Seward lost last night at Northwest Tech 80-63. It was a makeup game from the night before when it got snowed out. Lady Cougars will be in action at 2 tomorrow. They've won 6 straight, 22-4 overall. Jalen Wilson, KU and Jalen Wilson play Baylor tomorrow. Pleased that they've won 2 straight tough road games. Now they've got to gear it up for the Baylor Bears who are at Allen Fieldhouse. Marquise Noel, can K-State get out of their funk? I didn't see that one coming, but they've lost 3 of 4 now, and Iowa State is in Bramlage tomorrow.
And what's Jerome saying? They need at least 2 more wins to get in the tournament with that resume?
Well, if you lose all the rest of your games, the resume may not be good. Big 12 just, again, Cole Rife, it's loaded, buddy. It's loaded.
Eat your heart out. It's the best basketball conference in college this year. Anyway.
Nathan Brockelman talking about these super regionals. So you got West at one site, you got East on the other, and sounds like all the top wrestlers in this state are on the West side. But you do qualify 8, so.
And we were looking at the brackets earlier, some favorable ones in there, but a lot of our ranked kids are hanging out in the 3 to 5 spots, so a lot of them are in position as long as the seedings kind of hold true.
So all you got to do is finish 8th.
I think it's tough.
It'll be tough.
How many matches do you have to win then? Or these?
I don't think you can wrestle over 5 in a day, so it just depends on where you win them, because if you get a couple on the front side, you're sitting pretty. But
I think the minimum amount you can win and qualify for state, if you win your first 3, I think no matter what, you'd be guaranteed to get at least 8th.
Okay, but if you lose your first one, then you've got some work to do.
That'll be, you can still win you can lose your first and still work your way back even to that 3rd place, but it'd be tough.
Panthers are down at Andover for that regional. It is getting underway today. And this.
The key now is that how is his body going to react? Can he get his body to come back and feel somewhat like it did today?
That was market manager Matt Althouse talking about Mike Hesher's performance, if he can come back 2 days in a row and be. No, that was Andy North talking about Tiger Woods. How about Tiger Woods, a 69 yesterday? How?
Is that a 3 under?
3 straight birdies, finished with 3 straight for a 69.
But he's like 5 shots behind the leader, right?
He's walking on shattered legs, Hesh. Can't you root for the guy?
Not for him.
His back is being held together with bubble gum and duct tape right now, and he's out there.
But aren't all the good guys doing the other tournament?
What is this?
It's like JV now.
He's on the JV schedule. No. The Genesis Invitational. You don't like Tiger Woods either. Does he make
I
too
did
much
when he
money for you, or what's
first-
the deal here? He never signed with the new golf.
I do
tour.
appreciate that,
Okay.
but I think there's guys with less baggage that I would rather go for. I liked him when he started coming out and was kind of going against the grain, and
And then what?
well, things went to his head.
Aaron?
I think he's got a great game. It's been fun to see him come back from some of the injuries they sustained earlier in his career. Golfing isn't necessarily a sport that everyone thinks about taking a physical toll, but especially on some of those rotational muscles like your abductors and your adductors down there, it takes a lot of torque, and for him to be able to come back and still stripe him like he does, it's pretty impressive.
Where are those at?
Those are like right here. Lane Johnson actually had a torn adductor during the Super Bowl. Right.
I
here.
was kidding.
Yeah.
I was kidding. It's kind of like, from I don't know. I haven't seen mine in a while. Okay, I'm just telling you that.
Who's my guy that smokes heaters out there? John Daly. That's my kind of.
The rural kind of golf guy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Headlines today. Mike Corson and myself started. This will cheer Hesher up because we'll talk baseball talk. Mike?
I'm ready, yes.
So spring training is underway. Doesn't
Correct.
that? Yeah. Are you excited about the pitch clock?
Wait and see attitude.
Okay.
You tell me it's going to be great for the game.
Uh-huh.
I'll just have to wait and see. I don't think they should have to have something artificial. In my opinion, the players and umpires could just make it do themselves.
Well, they've tried that for.
But they haven't done it, so maybe it's time. And
But
I do not like the runner at second base rule at all.
Why?
Because that's not how baseball is played.
It's like it's dumbed down to please the TV audience. And I know they need the TV audience to make the money, but
I don't want to watch it. Well, I've never watched an 18-inning game because I'm not going to.
they were discussing, why don't you just put a time on the whole game? Get the bases loaded, bottom of the seventh, down one, and you run out of time.
Game
Oh,
over.
That's silly.
But every
That's
other sport
silly.
does it.
Well, that's what we did it in Little League. They had that little cooking clock up there, and then when the thing went off the press box, no matter where you were at in the game, that was it.
Okay, could we put like the first 10th and 11th inning, just play the game regularly, and then maybe like in the 12th, then you put on the runner at second base? That way you have a chance to end the game like a normal baseball game?
No, I wouldn't have any problem with that.
Okay, then, see?
And it's completely unfair.
Oh, no. You used that word.
Well, because it's not how the game's played. Why is the guy who struck out last going to second base when he's your 280-pound DH? And then the other team happens to be in the bottom of their order with some second baseman who can run for the junior world track team.
Okay, well, why don't we just have a 27th man on the roster, and he's
I
got to
would-
weigh over 250 pounds.
As long
And
as
you
it's
can bring a
consistent.
fan out. Yeah, you bring a fan out of the stands. How about that?
The Iceman.
It would just, well,
Marlins man. It's probably
it's unfair that we don't have these at the. You can't make everything fair.
But you just made it fair, and it was an odd rule that it was the last man out.
If you took someone out of the stands, you might get a fat guy, you might get a fast guy.
I was going to say, we just made the position for me on a baseball team over 250, don't have to do anything. That's my kind of deal.
Why can't the teams just pick?
So it's fair.
Yeah.
Well, who's he going to replace that? I mean, you got to take somebody out.
That's
of the lineup,
man.
and
That's
you
why the
lose your
managers make
designated
the
hitter.
big bucks. Zach Greinke out there running bases is his
He'd
off
love
day.
that. He would love that. Okay, anything else today before we get going? We got
Derek Carr is visiting with the New York Jets today. A lot of people thought they may try to trade for Aaron Rodgers or try to make a move there because of the Nathaniel Hackett, their new offensive coordinator. But Derek Carr going to come in, could potentially be a solid veteran option if that's the way the Jets are looking to go, and not cost nearly as much both in contract and in draft compensation that they would take to get Aaron Rodgers.
Plus, we don't know what Rodgers' eyes are going to be like when he comes out of the dark.
You have no idea what's going to be on his mind, what will have impacted his mind during that time. And then I also thought you'll get a kick out of this with how much you love evening television. Travis Kelce going to go host SNL on March 4th.
Really?
Yep, he's going to be making his SNL hosting debut.
They'll get him off there quick because he'll say some things that aren't politically correct, and he'll be booed, and they'll be.
I think it'll come down to whether or not Jabroni is deemed all right for Saturday Night Live.
You might hear some fireworks that night, too.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay. Jeremy Combs is going to be in here next. Boys, thanks. And Mike Corson will see you back here at 1:20 for On the Prowl.
Let's do it.
All on the way.
Explore the world of Rossum's Universal Robots presented by Barton Theater with multiple showings from March 2nd through the 4th and March 9th through the 11th. In this sci-fi suspense classic, humans have created robots meant to serve humankind, but the robots have other plans and an epic battle between man and machine erupts. The show has been adapted and modernized by Barton Theater from the original 1921 production. Visit shows.bartoncccc.edu for tickets.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison and Great Bend.
Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, your local Whirlpool dealer, is holding an income tax layaway sale. Pick out what you want, put it on layaway, and pay it off when you get your tax refund. Choose from Whirlpool washers and dryers, stoves, refrigerator, and freezers. Buy a big screen HD TV, new recliners, beds, and furniture galore. Pick it out today, put it on layaway, and pay it off when you get your tax refund. Get all the details at Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, your local Whirlpool dealer at 10th and Morton.
You've waited all winter for them to get here, and now wait no more. Seed potatoes now in at the American Plains Co-op Farm Store. Several seed potato varieties to choose from once again this year, but don't wait too long because they always go fast. American Plains Co-op Farm Store, your place to go for all of your lawn and garden supplies. And remember, March is the time to get control of crabgrass early with Barricade Pre-Emergent. But right now it's potato time. Seed potatoes now here at the American Plains Co-op Farm Store. So come in and get them now at the Farm Store on South Main in Great Bend.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Joining us in Coach Jeremy Combs, Barton Cougars, and assistant coach Brett French. You heard Brett on the sounds the past 24 hours talking about the Cougars' play. 9 of 11. They've won 3 straight and had a close one the other night, Coach. 81-52.
Yeah, we defended and held them down pretty good, and then we were hitting on all cylinders offensively, so it kind of got away from them.
How'd that feel to go out in a game like that? There's it's an important contest, and just to go out and play that well, that's got to be a good sign. You guys keep chugging right along.
Yeah, I think we're locked in, as the guys would have been talking about, and so again, I think we've just gotten better and better every day in practice, and I think the guys are doing the right things by getting in the gym and shooting and doing the things they're supposed to be doing to get better, and we're just coming together as a team, and this is kind of when you want to do that, late in the season, and we just have to keep it going.
Brett France, you kind of explained it pretty good for Cole on Wednesday night, kind of a 9 of 11, what's been clicking for the team and what's been the difference in your mind?
Yeah, like the other night I said, I think a lot of our guys are just more comfortable and more confident. Obviously, we have our group of sophomores who have been here, and they're usually pretty consistent, but some of those other freshmen who are, stepping up and just being more confident and just playing more loose and comfortable, and it's really helping out so far. So
okay, so when Joey got hurt, it was kind of like, okay, it was like there was a death in the family, and so that's what you say, right? Well, maybe, this can get some other guys, maybe they'll step up and take advantage of their opportunity. And by golly, I think that's happened some, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, and it's helped with depth and give some guys some experience. And that's the unfortunate thing about our conference. We jump right into it after 6 games, and so normally you would have some non-conference games that you can get some guys some experience, and we just dive right in, and every game matters. And so sometimes you're not able to get those guys the experience they need, as especially the freshmen. But then when you're forced to do it with an injury like we did with Joey, it ended up really helping us, and I think it's going to help us down the stretch as well.
I don't think we know how. That was a good win down at Pratt. And Gardner's going to be down there tomorrow. So, and that's just that was the biggest game of the stretch. I thought, go down there on the road and win in a place. I think he lost 2 or 3 in a row and get that win down there. That was big.
Yeah, really tough place to play, and I think somebody had said that we hadn't won down there in 3 years or something like that. And to be able to go down there and play as well as we did and hold them off, and especially as talented as that team is. I mean, Pratt is super talented. They're not super deep, but they are very talented. And for us to go get the win there was huge.
Got your rotation pretty much figured out, don't you? I mean, it's...
Yeah, this is the time of year that it happens, and there's a few guys that have, with the return of Joey have lost some minutes. Stephen Spray's lost a little bit of minutes, but that's what makes a team really, really good. And that's what, gives us that depth down the stretch that we're going to need. Okay.
Brett, with this, looking ahead, give me kind of a quick scout on Seward. They had one of those Thursday night, we got to go up to Goodland games last night a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's always a tougher place to play up there. But, Seward's a team that's going to play really hard. They'll do a little different stuff defensively, but lucky for us in this league, we've kind of seen everything defensively, so it's not something that we're, going to be shocked by. But, they're a good team. They play hard, and obviously they beat us the first time, so, we got to be locked in, and hopefully we can build on our game from the other night.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, they go up to Northwest and get beat last night, but Seward's already got your guys' attention since you went down there the first time this year.
Yeah,
so.
And I was actually looking at the box score, and we just shot it so bad and didn't play well at all. And so hopefully we can build off what we were doing offensively the other night, sharing the ball, making shots, playing together. If we do that, we'll have a better chance. So
Dodge City goes down, so we've got a two-way tie for first, 15-5. Butler right there is 14-7. You're a half game back, and keeping an eye on Garden State. It's been fun race here at the end of the season.
Yeah,
there's the top.
There's a ton of scenarios that you can look at, and back when I first got into coaching, I'd probably try to break that down and go, oh, this is what's going to happen. But I try not to even look at that. I kind of, last night talking to my wife, we were watching the Northwest Tech game in Seward, and I kind of started to mention a few different scenarios, and my wife said, stop right there. No, don't even say it. And so I stopped, and so I think, again, it's just one game at a time, and we have to be locked in and focused on this Seward team that's coming in, because again, they make you play ugly, and they're talented, and they're physical, and so we're going to have to play well to beat them.
Feel your team's getting like that second win now here? It's been such a long season. You start back in August, and then you go through the dog days, and you feel like you're maybe getting that second wind right now.
Yeah, and knock on wood, I think we're getting healthy, and you come back from Christmas and you're trying to get the guys back in shape, and you lose a lot of the stuff that you worked for at the beginning of the year, and everybody goes through that. But I think right now, again, like I said, we're hitting on all cylinders. We're playing well together. We've kind of figured each other out. The freshmen are starting to act like sophomores, and so it's been really good for the team. And obviously, with this late run, I think we can make a run at it.
Okay, and then let's see, we've got Colby, Northwest Tech, and who else we got left on there? You're not supposed to be looking ahead, but what's up, Brad? That's your job. So.
Yeah.
Do we have to go to Northwest Tech now?
Yeah, we have to go to Northwest Tech, which, again, that's a really tough place to play. Colby comes to our place on sophomore night, and then we finish off the season over at Dodge City.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Brett, I'm glad you came in here today. Kind of give us your coaching background and how you got hooked up with Coach Combs.
Yeah, well, actually, I played for Coach when he was at Neosho almost 9 years ago is when I got there. So I played for him for a couple of years, and then I went on and played at Youngstown State after that, and then right when I finished at Youngstown, I actually came back and worked for him at Neosho for a year. So I had that stint with him. Then I went to Ottawa University for a year. And then I went back up to Ohio, Lake Erie College. It's a Division II school up there. I was there for 2 years and then came back with Coach again. So,
what do you think, Great Bend?
I like it. It's been good so far. So,
who were your teammates? I'm trying to zero this in here. So,
at Neosho?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Was there a kid from Ellsworth on that team?
No.
Or am I thinking the wrong one here? Yeah.
Jake Stoppel was on your team, right?
He was there when I was redshirted.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, wondering if I.
No, I mean, we had, obviously, our big man, Joseph Akul. He was a 7-footer, blocked everything. And we had a really good point guard, BJ Jenkins. So they made it really easy to play with those two guys.
Yeah, we went down there for that one tournament that one time, and Jake was playing on that team. So
right, yep,
about 9 or 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
That's a decade ago now. So, okay, looking ahead now. I mean, everything seems good right now. How do you keep you guys on an even pace, and what's practice like at this time of year?
You know, at this time of year, it's not a 2-3 hour grind practice anymore. You know, you've kind of already put in all your stuff, and you go in for an hour and a half, and you're getting a ton of shots up and making sure your execution's on and things like that. But this team is an interesting team. I think we've kind of figured out, they have figured out when they can have some fun and when they got to lock in and be serious. And so, you know, we'll get loose in practice a lot. You know, they've been starting practice off with not necessarily a dance contest, but they've been out there dancing to some music and having a good time and kind of getting amped up, and you know, they kind of finish practice that same way. And so, but in between, they're like I said, they're locked in and they're getting after it and doing what we got to do to, you know, be successful.
Guys, I'm glad you came in today. And one more thing, Brad, because we've had some Great Bend High School assistants in with Coach Cree, and I always ask, you know, what's the dynamic on the bench with the coach and the assistant? What's your dynamic like? Does he listen to you? You know, I mean, kind of your conversations during the game and during practice.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's one thing Coach Combs is really good with, is he asks me and the other assistant, Austin Downing, for our input all the time, whether it's what are we doing for practice or in a game. He'll ask us our opinion. And, you know, that's something that's good to have, because sometimes you don't have a lot of that with a head coach. You know, they like to do everything and don't really want your opinion or anything like that. So, yeah, Coach listens. He doesn't always do what we recommend, which is his choice and probably the smarter thing to do because he has more experience than us. But yeah, he definitely is good in that aspect. So
you like your assistants?
Yeah, it's great having guys that have played for you. You know, I mean, it's they know what I expect. They know what we do. You know, and we just have a really good relationship. You know, and I can get after them or they can get after me. I mean, even we talked about this at halftime. He said, "Coach, I know you've been doing this a long time."
When they start off like
but you know, and so they know that they can talk to me, and I can do the same with them, and so I trust them. So it's a great relationship to have with your assistant coaches.
They understand what you're thinking, and they can also explain to your players who maybe don't understand that, and they can go a little bit deeper into it when maybe you don't have.
Yep, there's no question, and they can do the good cop, bad cop stuff as well, and it's a good dynamic between us all.
Yeah, being a good cop's better than being a bad cop, but that's okay. Guys, thanks for coming in. We'll see you next Friday.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break here on Sports Day. Jeremy Combs, Brett Franzen with us here on the program. Our KVGB High School basketball insider, Connor Nickel, coming up next. Going to talk about 2,000-point scores in Kansas. That's next.
Don't feel bad if you're not a phone expert. That's what we're here for. At Next Tech Wireless, we'll help you in the transition to a new device step by step. Want to customize the screen? We've got you. Have questions about some of the functions? We're happy to help. You're not just another number to us. Come see us today, and we'll get you into the best phone for your needs. We're friends. We're neighbors. We are Kansas. Next Tech Wireless.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Minor sickness or injury doesn't always happen during your doctor's regular office hours. So when you need care, the team at the University of Kansas Health System Convenient Care Walk-In Clinic is available for you. Walk in 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. No appointment needed. Let the experienced team at the Convenient Care Walk-In Clinic at St. Rose Medical Pavilion care for you. Learn more at kansashealthsystem.com/Great Bend.
Get everything you need for your home with great savings during Sutherland's President's Day tax rebate sale. 10% off Osage bathroom vanities, 20% off Mosaic bathroom tiles, 20% off Moen bath hardware, 20% off regular price in-stock furniture. And if you're looking for a new zero-turn mower, be sure to check out Sutherland's Bad Boy and Gravely zero-turn mowers. And remember, they service what they sell. Sutherland's, West 10th, Great Bend, helping America build it better since 1917.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Friday Sports Day here. KVGB. Joining us, our KVGB basketball insider, does great work with sports in Kansas. He's all over. It's Connor Nickel, and he's with us here today. We've got some Friday basketball to talk about, but Connor, I know that you've got a story up right now at Sports in Kansas. 2,000 point scores. I was looking through this list. It's fascinating, and there are going to be some people joining that list maybe as soon as tonight. We'll just have to wait and see, but kind of talk about how you got going on this story, since I guess maybe because you have 2,000 point scores that are getting close to being 2,000 point scores.
Well, and this is one thing that I really enjoy as far as the reporting aspect of things. And I call it, you kind of tumble down the rabbit hole and you see where things go.
Yeah.
And so last Friday night, Jackson Brandel at Greeley County, who, of course, at Great Bend last year helped his team win 1A Division II state. He crossed 2,000 points last Friday. And a question was posed to me of how many scores have ever cleared 2,000. And I got hooked up with Kyle Taylor, who lives further east. And he actually, we have the all-time girls list, which has been published a couple of times. But he actually had the all-time boys list. And so that was really, really cool. And then I just started on Monday. You just start going through, and you see where some other people are. Not necessarily just around, your guys' area, but just across the state. And of course, Dutton and Coach Joyner and I talked this week. Dutton is now 38 points away. Karen Sides, after last night, is now 14 points away. And Carlson from Pawnee Heights has an outside chance to get there, especially if he has games like he just had a few nights back. Plus, there was a kid from Fort Scott who plays for a non-Keisha school who also passed 2,000 a short time ago. So as of right now, Brett Dutton would be the number 23 boy all-time in Kansas, and Karen Sides would be the number 29 girl. And this list goes back 70-plus years.
Wow.
And it's really cool that obviously Brandel doing it last Friday and Sides and Dutton both could reach that on here tonight.
And Britt Dutton will be playing Otis Bison on a Friday. I guess he could probably just go out and get it if he wanted to. I mean, on any night, it seems like. But that's really neat. And this list was just, there's not, 1,000-point score gets a lot of recognition. 2,000, then you see, how big of, and of course, then you have Jackie Stiles, who scored 3,603 points. So she's one of three 3,000-point scores. Lori Kane and Emily Ryan, the other two. But, that's quite an accomplishment. Wow.
Yeah, it really is. And what it goes back to, I kind of found a few kind of links between Brandel, Dutton, and Sides that I thought were kind of neat. All three of them are coached or heavily influenced by a family member. Obviously, Coach Joyner is Britt Dutton's uncle. And, of course, Coach Joyner was on the Pittsburgh State staff for several years. And 14 years ago, he and I talked about this week. He is holding Britt Dutton at a K-State Pitt State game. Short time after that, Britt Dutton's mom marries Coach Joyner's brother, and obviously Britt and Coach Joyner have been very, very close. Taryn Sides' mother is the longtime Peaburg assistant coach, and Jackson Brandel comes from a long-time Greeley County family that stretches back many, many years. And his uncle, who has been influential in his career, was the assistant when Greeley County last won state. That was in 2011. And all three of them were very, very well known in their towns growing up. Second grade, third grade, people said these people have a natural knack for playing. And all three of them have worked extremely hard. Obviously, Dutton is going to Division II. Sides to K-State. Brandel has not yet signed. I think he could go in a variety of ways because he is a very, very quality player. You could see him going in JUCO or perhaps somewhere else too.
Were there some surprises on there that anybody said, man, I didn't know, I knew he was good, but I didn't know he scored that many points?
Yeah, for me, in fact, it was funny. When you go down these rabbit holes, Jaden Garrison was not on the original list. And I had mentioned to somebody earlier in the week. I said, "Oh, Jaden Garrison should be on there." The guy who I actually forgot about was Darren Kistner, who graduated from Hartford 6 years ago. He actually went to two different high schools, and I had just forgotten that he had cleared 2,000, but somebody else kind of was certainly aware of that. The other thing too that I thought was really neat is obviously Connor Frankamp beat Perry Ellis's mark. Those two were tremendous college players, and I did find out that Perry Ellis was the first City League 2,000-point scorer of all time. And it broke a record, again, this was mid-2000s, that it stood for a very, very long, long time. On the girls' side, what was really interesting is that Taryn Sides will not actually be the MCL all-time scorer. Dana Finch from the Center, whose dad coached for many, many years, she is still the all-time MCL scorer at 2,256 points. And then Tristan Gegg, who is at Labette County, she is now a tremendous player at Pittsburgh State. So it's really cool to see some of these players pop up, not only in their high school careers, but also what they're currently going on now with.
I think this shows a little bit, too, that we're seeing more kids play as freshmen. Because, years ago, and again, I'll throw this out, back in my day, you hardly ever saw a freshman, especially at the larger schools, but we're seeing that so much more now. I guess that's summer basketball and playing more, but more freshmen. We're going to see more people getting to this list than ever before here in the coming years, and like we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. In Carlson, I really thought Carlson's right now at 17-30 with, potentially 8 games to go. And so, if he averages 30 a game, which he's been averaging about 27 a game, he's going to be very, very close. And I was like, man, I kind of thought he had more. He's had an incredible career. Freshman year, he averaged about 12.5 points per game. Terrence Sides was over 20 as a freshman. Dutton was 18, 19 range. And generally, you're exactly right. The freshman year, if you don't put in a good 400 points, it kind of really gets you back further. But yeah, Carlson will still finish as a top, barring anything crazy happening, the top 30 all-time scorer for Kansas. So it's really cool what Dutton and Carlson have done has been amazing. And Peaburg has long recognized that Terrence Sides is a once in a lifetime player, and they've really, kind of appreciated her a lot.
I guess you really wanted to go down a rabbit hole because the way records are kept so much better now, because a lot of times, they're in the cloud, or they're, other people had great. If I wanted to go back and find out how many points I scored, there's no way to do it. And I mean, unless you find scorebooks laying around somewhere. I just wondered, guys who aren't even on this list that, were way up there in points scored and things like that.
Yeah, there is one name for sure that no one can find records of. That's a girl who we believe would be over 2,000 points, and you probably remember her, Steve. Camelia Hartzler from Spearville.
Yes.
Spearville had that run, 87 to 91 type range, and several people have thrown out, just people online. No one can find the career marks for her. There's also, I don't think he would get at 2,000, but he definitely would be fairly high. There was a guy from Tesket in the 60s. Tesket had a team in 1966 that had an average margin of victory of 30 points a game. And so, again, you've got some of these people throughout the years that we just don't know, truly.
Yeah, and then you have the ones that, and I know because I went to school with this girl, Carrie Jones, Pratt Skyline. That was 1978, Connor. There was no three-point shot back then. So, and she scored 2,199 points. I saw her score 67 one night. Wow. That's, and she's doing that from 2-point. We didn't have the 3-point line back then. So it's really cool to see, from what era that they came from. I think she's the highest scorer that played in the prior to the 3-point shot. So let me throw out a little. Oh, and Carrie Jones was a 5'8" high jumper too. So just get my plug in there for my Skyline Thunderbird today. Great work. Where can people find this? And go check it out because it's outstanding.
Yeah, well, thank you very, very much. Yeah, sportsnks.com. I try to have one, I call it one themed or one enterprise piece every week. I've done that now for several years. Last week we did it on kind of the 3A girls and their kind of overall dominance. We did it on defense a couple of weeks back. And so this posted at about 8 a.m. this morning, and I've heard from a number of people so far, and it's been a really, really cool piece, and I was glad that I could have it here.
Yep, you go check it out. Let's go ahead and change here because I don't want to run out of time before we talk about this, but regional wrestling last week for the girls and the boys coming up this weekend. Some thoughts on what came out of some of the girls' regionals around here.
Yeah, and I thought Hoisington girls, they win their regional. They did not have a regional champion. The interesting thing was that Wycombe, who of course was second in state last year, has been ranked number one most of this season. Kaden Haig, she's been a state medalist twice, actually beat her in the championship match. We talked about this last week, and I think it's really true now. It's going to take a lot for Hoisington to win. Hoisington is not favored in any weight class to win a championship, but I definitely think that a top 3 plaque is really possible. You've got 5 teams on the girls' side. Obviously, girls is actually midweek here next week. Pratt, I do think, is the favorite overall. Then you've got Hoisington. Baldwin is going to be really good. Baldwin qualified 10. They've got one girl who should make a final for sure. Columbus, I believe, had qualified 7, and at least 3 or 4 of those should stay place. Santa Fe Trail has had kind of a surprising year. So I do think that Hoisington, a top 3 finish would be another great year for Coach Schmidt. But what I'm really interested in on the boys' side, and I talked to some wrestling people earlier this week about this who were not happy about this, and this happens a lot, is you clump all of the good Western Kansas teams together. And, of course, Larned is kind of the Central Western host this year, and Hoxie is going there. Hoxie, of course, won 3-2-1A by the biggest margin of victory ever last year. And I'll be honest, it could be even larger this year. I mean, they are just so good. I mean, they're beating ranked 6A teams. But it really kind of stinks because Hoxie's going to probably qualify at least 10. Plus some other schools are going to take some other spots too. And generally over half of your state placers come from the Western and Central Regional. I think that will definitely be the case again this year. I think whoever finishes second and third as far as the team standings, it's going to be really fascinating. Obviously, Hoisington's got a couple of nice kids, but I mean, Hoxie is just so far and above everyone else right now.
So you see a runaway at 3-2-1A.
Oh, it's not even going to be. It's not even close. I mean, there is the potentiality. I mean, Derek Johnson for Hoxie will be going for his fourth state title. It is very strongly potential that Hoxie will have 5 champions and at least 7 taking first or second place.
Wow. Yeah, that's the same way you see it. The 5A at Andover this weekend. I mean, you look and Nathan Brockelman had it figured up. I mean, the proportion of the state's top-ranked wrestlers are going to be at Andover in 5A. Yeah. So yeah, it's all across. Wrestlers are west, I guess, in the state of Kansas. Connor, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week, man. Sub-state's cranking up, getting really close here for high school basketball. Appreciate your time.
That's early, Steve-O. Thanks again.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right, Connor Nickel with us here on Sports Day. Friday basketball coming up. This is the last full Friday of high school basketball. So not a lot of teams will be playing next Friday. Great Bend will be, but most teams will be wrapping it up next Tuesday. We'll take a break. More Sports Day coming up right after this.
1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Explore the world of Rossum's Universal Robots presented by Barton Theater with multiple showings from March 2nd through the 4th and March 9th through the 11th. In this sci-fi suspense classic, humans have created robots meant to serve humankind, but the robots have other plans and an epic battle between man and machine erupts. The show has been adapted and modernized by Barton Theater from the original 1921 production. Visit shows.bartonccc.edu for tickets.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
We had a lady that was having some severe back and hip pain, and we worked with her for about 6 to 7 weeks, and we were able to actually restore greater than 80% of her mobility, and we were able to keep her from actually needing that surgery for about 4 years.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-851-0347. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-851-0347 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-851-0347. What do you have to lose? Call 800-851-0347. Again, 800-851-0347.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Excellent stuff there from Connor Nickel, and I've got that list out here because 2,000 points in a career. There's been 28 girls that have done it, 22 boys. And as I was talking kind of to Connor Hesh, I don't know how many points I scored. I don't think it wasn't 1,000. But, I mean, where would they even find that now if the schools weren't tracking that? I think there's probably more players that may have scored over that, but it just hasn't been documented.
Well, you also have to think that the girls have been playing a lot shorter time than the guys have. And there's more girls that have had 2,000 points as opposed to the guys, but the guys have been playing a lot longer.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Well, that's
and then you have to, there's three. Okay, Jackie Stiles, 3,603. And, of course, I say 1997. Okay. Lori Kane, 3,160. Emily Ryan was 3,007. Susan Wolf from Andover. Shaylee Lenning from Sublette is fifth with 2,510. Shauna Porter, Lady Tiger, 2,370. She is sixth. Micklenet Tanal of Centralia. I don't know if that's how to pronounce her name. Kendra Wecker from Marysville's 8. Brooke Ubelaker from Osborne scored 2,293 points. She graduated in 2003. And then going down the list here, maybe some far part of the state, Dana Finch from Smith Center is 11th, 2,256. Let's see, Carrie Jones. Oh, Carrie Jones. I talk about her.
That's the fifth time today you brought her into this?
She's 13th and the only 2-point person on there that played before the 3-point line. Nikki Ramage from Little River. Krisha Meitler from Sylvan Grove. Jenna Ferris from Lincoln. And Rachel Roulier. She was a good player. I saw her play. In fact, she played JUCO basketball after that. J.C. Hoyt from Hoxie. Brenda Phillips from Golden Plains. Your number one scorer, I don't know how to say this, but Simi Oleje. I don't know, he's from Ottawa. Josh Reed from Brewster went on to K-State. And let's see. Went on down here. Lonnie Hebert from Gossels, a 2,000-point scorer. And Jaden Garrison from Little River just a few years ago. So some names on there. Another name's going to be added tonight. Taryn Sides from Phillipsburg and Britt Dutton from Ellenwood.
Some of us were born to farm. Some diesels, like Cenex Premium Diesel, were born to fuel. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn to reduce particulate matter and keep filters cleaner for longer. Fuel your equipment like a pro with Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster and leave typical number 2 diesel to the amateurs. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction. They have quite a few jobs scheduled for the new year, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back. Looking at that list again. Had to make sure we got to a break there, but there are, how about Steve Cadu from McLouth? 2,382 points. That was from 1958 to 1961. Obviously, they weren't shooting a three-pointer back then. Don Bigham from Randall, 1953 to 56. He scored 2,544. He is third all-time on that scoring list on boys basketball. Some of the other old, Jerry Milner from Virgil. I don't know where these.
Never heard of these three towns.
No, Virgil, 1952 to 1955. Let's see if there's any other old timers on there. Nope. That's it. I don't see. Oh, Perry Ellis is number 10. Connor Frankamp, Wichita North, number 7. Go check out the story, sportsinkansas.com.
This is Agriculture Today.